Hi guys, Miss Davis here. I'm back for day 18. 18 of the Anne Frank series. Can you believe we've been together doing this for 18 days in a row? It's hard to wrap my head around. Today I want to get into some journal entries. I'm going to do a little skipping today before we get into things. Um, I I found a spot that's really kind of resonating with me today. So I've been doing this coronavirus lockdown, COVID-19, social distancing, isolation thing for almost 3 weeks now, and it's getting harder to be patient. And so I guess that's kind of the common theme that I found with the Diary of Anne Frank today. They are starting to think about, the Germans and the government and what are they going to do with us and what if this and what if that. And I'm really kind of feeling that today. So, one, I'm bored. I'm terribly bored. I'm starting to lose motivation to do things that I know I should do. Feeling kind of short and, for lack of a better word, a little grumpy. So, I don't. I'm thinking back, and Anne Frank is helping me through this a little bit, knowing that okay, so she was grumpy with the Van Dans and her mom and her sister, and so that's been done and thought before by other people. And you can do this, Devin. It's just kind of getting to me today, I guess, for lack of a better word. So I'm going to jump into it and get to the journal entries, and then I'll continue my commentary as we go. So I'm going to skip ahead to Thursday, the 27th of January, 1944. Dear Kitty, lately I have developed a great love for family trees and genealogical tables of the royal families, and have come to the conclusion that once you begin, you want to delve still deeper into the past and can keep on making fresh and interesting discoveries. Although I'm extraordinarily industrious over my lessons, and can already follow the English home service quite well on the wireless, I still devote many Sundays to sorting and looking over my large collection of film stars, which is quite a respectable size by now. I'm awfully pleased whenever Mr. Crayler brings the cinema and theater with him on Mondays, although this little gift is often called a waste of money by the less worldly members of the household. They're amazed each time at how accurately I can state who is in a certain film, even after a year. Ely, who on her days off often goes to the movies with her boyfriend, tells me of the titles of the new films each week, and in one breath I rattle off the names of the stars who appear in them, together with what the reviews say. Not so long ago, Mum said that I wouldn't need to go to the cinema later on because I knew the plots and names of the stars and opinions of the reviews all by heart. If I ever come sailing in with a new hairstyle, they all look disapprovingly at me, and can be quite sure that someone will ask me which glamorous star I'm supposed to be imitating. They only half believe me if I reply that it's my own invention. But to continue about the hairstyle, it doesn't stay put for more than half an hour. Then I'm so tired of the remarks that people pass that I quickly hasten into the bathroom and restore my ordinary house, garden, kitchen hairstyle. Yours, Anne. Okay, so I decided to read this one today because it reminded me how we can distract ourselves with things that maybe are a little bit frivolous and maybe not so meaningful, kind of get lost in the details of something that's just for fun. In one of the journal entries yesterday, I think it was, Anne wondered if anyone would understand that she was a young girl in desperate need of just some rollicking fun. And so I said yes, absolutely. I'm feeling that same way myself today. And, maybe some of the things that I'm spending my time on aren't necessarily really, really important, but they're entertaining and they're keeping me happy and keeping my mind sharp. And so I can identify with that a little bit today. Maybe not, every book I read is exactly, a literary masterpiece that I am allowed to indulge myself in, just a fun thing. And that's okay too. Maybe do something that's not particularly productive, and that's okay too. And the bit about the hairstyle, listen, I need a haircut desperately, so the bit about the hairstyle made me laugh because, oh goodness, my hair. Oh. Okay, next journal entry. This one gets a little bit more um, serious. So this one's Friday the 28th of January, 1944. Dear Kitty, I asked myself this morning whether you don't sometimes feel rather like a cow who has to chew over all the old pieces of news again and again, and who finally yawns loudly and silently, wishes that Anne would occasionally dig up something new. Alas, I know it's dull for you, but try to put yourself in my place and imagine how sick I am of the old cows who, having who keep having to be pulled out of the ditch again. If the conversation at mealtime isn't over politics or a delicious meal, then Mummy or Mrs. Van Daan trot out one of the old stories of their youth, which we've heard so many times before. Or do sell twaddles on about his wife's extensive wardrobe, beautiful racehorses, leaking rowboats, boys who can swim at the age of 4, muscular pains, and nervous patients. What it all boils down to is this: that if one of the 8 of us opens his mouth, the other 7 can finish the story for him. We all know the point of every joke from the start, and the storyteller is alone in laughing at his witticisms. The various milkmen, grocers, and butchers of the 2 ex-housewives have already grown beards in our mind. So often have they been praised to the skies or pulled to pieces. It's impossible for anything in the conversation here to be fresh or new. Still, all this would be bearable if the grown-ups didn't have their little way of telling the stories, which, with Kufius, Hank, or Meep, oblige the company 10 times over, and having their own little frills and furbelows, so that I often have to pinch my arm under the table to prevent myself from putting them right. Little children such as Anne must never, under any circumstances, know better than the grown-ups, however many blunders they make, and to whatever extent they allow their imaginations to run away with them. One favorite subject of Kufius's and Hank's is that of people in hiding and the underground movement. They know very well that anything to do with other people in hiding interests us immensely, and how deeply we can sympathize with the sufferings of people who get taken away, and rejoice with the liberated prisoner. We are quite as used to the idea of going into hiding or underground as in bygone days one was used to Daddy's bedroom slippers warming in the front of the fire. There are a great number of organizations, such as the Free Netherlands, which forge identity cards, supply money to people underground, find hiding places for people, and work with young men in hiding. It is amazing how much noble, unselfish work these people are doing, risking their own lives to help and save others. Our helpers are a very good example. They have pulled us through up till now, and we hope that they will bring us safely to dry land. Otherwise, they will have to share the same fate as many of the others who are being searched for. Never have we heard one word of the burden which we certainly must be to them. Never has one of them complained of all the trouble we give. They all come upstairs every day, talk to the men about business and politics, to the women about food and wartime difficulties, and about newspapers and books for the children. They put on the brightest possible faces, bring flowers and presents for birthdays and bank holidays, are always ready to help and do all they can. That is something we must never forget. Although others may show heroism in the war or against the Germans, our helpers display heroism in their cheerfulness and affection. The wildest tales are going around, but still they are usually founded on fact. For instance, Kufius told us this week that in Gelderland, 2 football 11s met, and one side consisted solely of members of the underground, and the other was made up of members of the police. New ration books are being held out in Silversum. In order that many people in hiding may also draw rations, the officials have given instructions to those of them in the district to come at a certain time, so that they can collect their documents from a separate little table. Still, they have to be careful that such impudent tricks do not reach the ears of the Germans. Yours, Anne. So this journal entry, 2 things strike me that are hitting home with me today. One is the idea about, oh my gosh, we're running out of things to talk about. Conversations getting rather thin, and I found myself thinking, yeah, I know that already. You already told me that story, or something like that. So I can identify with that, kind of, for lack of a better term, getting sick of each other's stories already. Or maybe just finding myself talking about the same things over and over again, because there really is no new news. And then the news that I do hear makes me have other thoughts altogether, which I'll get to in the next journal entry. And then the second thing that strikes me about this journal entry is the helpers. So in this circumstance, the helpers are the ones who are helping Jews and other people who would be otherwise fall victims to the Nazis, helping them to hide and helping them to stay safe and healthy, feed them, keep them healthy, bring them medicines when and if they get sick. These people are heroes every day by doing simple things. One of my favorite lines of this journal entry is, our helpers display heroism in their cheerfulness and affection. So this really reminds me of all of our brave men and women on the front lines of the COVID-19 fight, people who are working as doctors, nurses, home healthcare workers, nursing aid workers, those essential people that we need who are doing everything they can to help by just being themselves. Not speaking of the burden which we must be to them, but speaking only of um, what help and compassion and love they can give. And there is something just beautifully noble in all of that. So that makes me thankful for our helpers as well. I have some friends and family members who, are putting themselves at risk every day to be the helpers. Mr. Rogers says whenever anything is really bad or troublesome, you look for the helpers, and that's how you'll know that everything's going to be okay. And so in this instance, Anne is looking at and to her helpers as their lifeline, and I'm trying to be thankful and patient and do the same for mine. Last journal entry I want to read today. Goodness, I don't know if I can get all the way through it. I don't think I can. It's four whole pages, and I've only got like 3 minutes left. So I guess I'll save it for tomorrow, and that'll be all that we'll get in today. Cut it a little short. I kind of got the Monday blahs anyway, but those are my thoughts for what they're worth. And again, you can look for comments in our discussion questions in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks. Have a great day.